Hey, welcome into Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. It's the show that highlights Giles, Maury, and Lawrence counties, all from the pages of your local newspaper. That's right. Your local newspapers are Pulaski Citizen, Lawrence County Advocate, Main Street Maury. I'm the publisher, Scott Stewart. We'd love to get you a copy of your local newspaper in your mailbox or on your computer screen each and every week, and you can do that with a subscription. So here's why you can do that. You can call 931-363-3544, 931-762-1726, or 615-452-4940. Any of those numbers can get you in contact with the people that can get you lined up for a subscription to any of our newspapers, including any of our other Main Street newspapers. Or you can visit PulaskiCitizen.com, MainStreetMurray.com, LawrenceCountyAdvocate.net. Once again, any of those websites will take you where you need to go to get a subscription to your local newspaper. Now, let's get our weekly wrap started this week. The Pulaski Citizen Wrap starts this week with our Citizen Spotlight, Yumika Meadows, whose photo graces the spot there at the top and center of our front page. Also on A1, Indicted is the headline on the lead story this week. Adam Arthur Rosenthal has been indicted in the connection with the murder of fellow 12 Tribes member Darren Cody Gambrell. The Boys and Girls Club of Pulaski will be hosting the inaugural Milk and Honey Gala, and that's coming up this weekend. The Giles County Arts Showcase is coming up Monday, May the 12th at Giles County High School. Another headline declares parole denied for Shonda James. She was 14 years old back in 1995 when she killed her aunt and ran off to Michigan with her toddler cousin. Her parole was denied last week, again, 3 years later after the last denial. And there's 3 more years. She'll have another chance at parole. We've got the complete story there on page A1. The Giles County Commission heard about a trip that EMS Director Willow Chavez and Training Director Dustin Blade took recently, and the impact it's had on them and the impact that it could have on Giles County EMS. Also, we have the rest of the business that took place at the Giles County Commission meeting last week. And finally, on A1, Friday is Lemonade Day. And if you don't know what that means, pick up a copy of the paper this week or just ride around the square here in a little bit on Friday, and you'll see exactly what it means. Inside this week, it's Around the Square Week, and you can find a feature on all the Giles County Public Library special programs, and we've got information from our Around the Square businesses and what's going on in May. Trey Donovan gives us his takeaways after hearing RFK Jr., and our GCHA Pet of the Week is Belly Rub Loving Lulu. Say that real fast 3 times. Belly Rub Loving Lulu is our GCHA Pet of the Week. The second annual Honeybee Festival in Giles County is May 10th. Mother's Day is Sunday, and Margaret Campbell takes a look at Mother's Day and its traditions. As always, the Pulaski Citizen has obituary notices, court docket, property transfers, government public notices, backward glances, bunny games, church directory, community briefs, Tennessee Valley weather, and church briefs. And the Pulaski Citizen this week celebrates all our high school graduates with our annual graduate section. So make sure you pick a copy up and hang on to it, especially if you got a graduate this week. They'll be in our paper. It's all in this week's Pulaski Citizen, and Wade has our sports. So take it away, Wade.
What's up, folks? Wade Neely here, sports editor at the Pulaski Citizen. Time now for a look at what's in print and what's online for our May 7th edition of the Pulaski Citizen sports page. We start with Giles County soccer, and we start with Bobcat senior Christian Sense. As yes, Giles County got a 9-4 victory versus Spring Hill in one of their final games of the regular season. But most importantly, Giles County also celebrated Christian Sense, the senior, breaking the program's all-time scoring record as he entered the regular season finale with Spring Hill at 85 career goals, just one behind legendary striker Clay Wetzel. Sense got a goal late in the first half, and Giles County was tied in that contest at the break 2-2. And then you're going to have to go and read this story, folks, because some new footwear was provided for Christian Sense in honor of potentially breaking the record, and Christian wasted little time, scoring just 1 minute and 10 seconds into the second half in a brand new set of boots. So make sure you check that out for all of the magic that was in those Adidas cleats attached to Christian's feet. And again, Giles County did get a 9-4 victory. We get you caught up on them as they began postseason play. Were scheduled to begin late last week, but they actually had to begin earlier this week thanks to inclement weather. Meanwhile, across town, the Richland Raiders, they are cruising on the baseball diamond. Not one, but 2 grand slams for the Raiders as they walloped visiting Hampshire 16-0. Richland takes care of business in the winner's bracket of the District 10A tournament and continued to take care of business in a game that was broadcast on Pulaski Citizen Live earlier this week. Richland has now defeated Hampshire a couple of times in the tournament by the time you listen to this. And so the Raiders are your District 10A champs, but we go behind their semifinal victory. And again, not one, but 2 grand slams. Carter Edwards and Jamison Andrews going deep in that Raider victory. So make sure that you check that out. Meanwhile, back in Pulaski, the UT Southern men's tennis team is headed to the national tournament for the first time since 2010. The Firehawks earning one of the 11 at-large selections for a 24-team tournament that'll begin next week down at the Mobile Tennis Center in Mobile, Alabama. So props to the Firehawks and congrats, again, making their first tournament appearance since 2010. While we're talking UT Southern, and let's talk a little Giles County. Love when we can combine our stories, and we did just that as not one, not two, but 3 different former Bobcats and Lady Bobcats also received collegiate hardware as members of the baseball and softball programs at UT Southern. Hannah Hill, Coleman Sinyard, and Marie Bodley all earned honors at the conference level in the Southern States Athletic Conference. They were recognized for their achievements at their respective awards banquets. So we go behind the scenes, kind of giving you a rundown on what made those 3 standouts at UTS, but former Bobcat and Lady Bobcat standouts so special. So make sure that you check that out. As always, we have words from our good friend Larry Woody. And if you missed any of this in print, just remember, folks, you can log on PulaskiCitizen.com and check out everything online. That's time, all the time that we have for this week's update. Again, this was a primer on the May 7th, 2025 edition. I'm Wade Neely saying so long, and we'll see you next time with an update on all things sports in Giles County.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather beater.
Hello, I'm Andrew Pearson, and you're a Columbia and Maury County reporter, and here's our wrap for this week's issue of Main Street Maury. First of all, congratulations to Lacey Kincaid for carrying the flags at the Franklin Rodeo for the third year in a row. 12-year-old Lacey is a Spring Hill cowgirl who competes in several rodeo events herself and is president of her age group in the state association. She'll be riding around the arena with the American flag on her 7-year-old sorrel horse named Rip. A jury in Maury County rendered justice in a 34-year-old unsolved murder case. Using DNA evidence and witness testimony, 64-year-old Clark Baldwin was finally convicted of murdering Pamela McCall and her unborn baby in 1991. He was arrested in 2020 in a coordinated operation between federal agencies and the law enforcement in 3 states. Our local district attorney, Brent Cooper, credits his assistant DAs and investigators with finally bagging the killer, who was sentenced to life in prison by Maury County's own Judge Christopher Sockwell. He'll face charges for 2 other alleged murders in Iowa soon. Meredith's Toy Box is now ongoing at Faith Fellowship Cumberland Presbyterian Church. From April 24th to May 31st, they'll accept toys to give primarily to older children at Columbia's new Kids Place Advocacy Center. People can also buy toys off the Toy Drive's Amazon wish list and have them shipped to the address given on page A7. A Maury County Sheriff's deputy was fired last week after fleeing from the Columbia Police during a routine traffic stop. Deputy Sergeant Randy Marisette was allegedly pulled over and showed signs of inebriation before he tried to escape the police by driving his truck and trailer down Trotwood Avenue at high speed. The Sheriff's Department confirmed that he's no longer on the force on which he served for 16 years. Finally, the Columbia City Council will consider increasing water rates at a future voting session. The increases, which are small flat amounts for direct consumers and per 1,000 gallons for larger users and resellers, will go towards the maintenance of existing water infrastructure, some of which is approaching the end of its useful lifespan. The city also discussed other policy changes which can be read about on page A3. On our other pages, Columbia will close a stretch of Baker Road until August for improvements, as well as the intersection of 8th and South Main until September to build the Thurgood Marshall Memorial Roundabout. The Tennessee Valley Weather Team was given an award by the State Emergency Management Association. Columbia Academy adds new members to its honor society. Hampshire Unit School's business classes have donated yet another $1,000 to sponsor breast cancer screenings and awareness at Maury Regional. And the Clean Up Columbia Initiative finished their second event in Litter Awareness Month recently. Thank you for tuning into this week's wrap. Catch us at the same time and place for next week's. Let's go to sports with Maurice Patton.
Hey, I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor at Main Street Maury. This week's print edition of the Main Street Maury sports section, that would be the May 7th sports section. We've got some coaching changes announced, one in particular, well, a coaching change, but it's a big one. As we announced a few weeks ago, Santa Fe boys basketball coach Brad Slaughter stepped down after 7 seasons at the top of the Wildcats program, leading them to back-to-back Class 1A state tournament appearances in his final 2 seasons and a state semifinal berth last year. Well, different name, same family atop the Wildcat program. Brad's cousin Jeremy has been named as his successor, and we've got coverage of that move in this week's print edition of Main Street Maury. Be sure and check that out and see why Jeremy is a good fit to replace his cousin Brad at Santa Fe. We've also got coverage of some track as some local athletes made their way into this week's sectionals up at Ravenwood with their performances in the South subsectional last week at Ravenwood. Check that out, see who's moving forward and who is within a top 4 finish this week of a state track and field meet berth. More postseason play at the high school level as we've got coverage of Battle Creek and Mount Pleasant's District 10 2A play-in game from last week. We've also got some Spring Hill baseball. Be sure and check that out. We have the wrap-up of the Williamson County girls flag football season. They played their postseason tournament this past weekend. We can tell you who won, who's moving on. Well, we'll tell you now. Ravenwood, for the 4th time in as many years, won the postseason tournament, but this time it's not the end of the season for the Raptors. They will take part in the TSSAA Girls Flag Football State Tournament that begins today over in Murfreesboro. Again, check out our print edition for this week's schedule as well as last weekend's tournament results. Softball season ended for Columbia State at the state tournament level last week. Baseball season is still going, but the Chargers have some work to do. They dropped their opener that got pushed to Monday by weather issues down in Chattanooga over the weekend. Lost to Southwest Tennessee 2-0, but trying to battle back out of the losers bracket and stay alive are the Chargers. Again, coverage of all of that in this week's Main Street Murray as well. Also, Summit's reigning 150-pound state wrestling champion Zachary Little went out to Las Vegas for a big national tournament this weekend. See how he did in this week's print edition. We've also got Larry Woody's Outdoors. Be sure and check that out. This week on the website at mainstreetmurray.com, we will continue to keep you up to date with high school postseason play, including Columbia Central and Spring Hill soccer from earlier this week, and some scholarship signings as well. So check out the website at Main Street Murray. Check out next week's print edition of Main Street Murray for all of that and more. I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor for Main Street Murray. We'll see y'all next week.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.
The Lawrence County Advocate Wrap starts this week with recognitions in business coming from the April school board meeting. A St. Joseph man has been sentenced to 42 years in prison in relation to a child rape conviction. Lawrence Countyans observed the National Day of Prayer last week, and finally, on A1, the Lawrence County Battle of the Badges blood drive exceeded its goal. Inside this week, the Lawrence County school system partners with the Toys for Tots literacy program. They've cut the ribbons out at Providence Hall and at Southern Tennessee Primary Care. The Lawrenceburg Saturday free lunch schedule has been released. The South Central Human Resources has warned of a scam involving grant funds. Tennessee Valley Weather, our friends at Tennessee Valley Weather received an award recently. Congratulations to those guys. They deserve it. We know that. The Chamber has welcomed Chandler Rose as its destination marketing manager. Mayor Blake Lay proclaimed last week National Volunteer Week. Henry's Corner looks at life before cell phones, which a lot of us old folks can still remember. And Neil Beard tells about his trip to Brushy Mountain State Prison. There's a lot more to see in the Advocate this week, including obituaries, local community announcements, government notices, auctions and estate sales, the forecast from Tennessee Valley weather, 2 pages of puzzles and comics, and the local church directory. In sports, first of all, after we went to press, the Lawrence County High School Wildcat baseball team fought their way out of the loser's bracket and won the District 838 tournament. Congratulations. They'll be hosting a region game. We'll have to let you know about that later on the week. Keep an eye out on LawrenceCountyAdvocate.net and our Lawrence County Advocate Facebook page. So also in sports, Loretta's Allie Weathers has signed to play basketball and continue her education at Freed-Hardeman University. Summertown baseball continued to battle through the District 10-2A baseball tournament over the weekend. However, we can report after our press deadline that Summertown did fall to Lewis County and finished runner-up in the tournament, but Summertown still earned a region tournament bid, so they'll be playing this week later as well. The Summertown tennis team also heads to their region tournament. And Larry Woody says that it could be one strike and you're out when it comes to lightning. Well, that's it for this week's Lawrence County Advocate Wrap. We'll be right back right after this.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather on Main Street.
Well, good Wednesday morning. Taylor Ply here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center with a quick look at your forecast. As we go throughout your morning hours, a few areas of showers are expected. A lot of clouds, more clouds, I should say, than showers, I think, across the region on your Wednesday morning. Throughout the day on Wednesday, periods of rain and maybe a few rumbles of thunder can be expected. Temperatures getting up into the upper 60s and lower 70s. By the time we hit the evening hours on your Wednesday, going into Thursday morning, still have a chance at a few showers and storms. 7-day forecast looks like this. Mother's Day weekend, increasing rain chances are expected. We're keeping it on the lower end of things right now, but I do think a few showers and storms can be expected Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday. Temperature-wise, though, still remaining in the 70s.
Well, that's it for the Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee this week. Make sure you get a copy of your local newspaper online or traditional newspaper so you don't miss a minute of all the local coverage we've got lined up for you. For more information on subscribing to any of our local newspapers, visit MainStreetMediaTN.com. It's MainStreetMediaTN.com. And thank you for trusting us, as always, as your source for local news, sports, weather, and more. And good Lord willing, we'll be right back here next week on Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.